Hey guys, so today I thought I'd bring you some interesting replays from ranked play on Dueling Book, playing Cyber Dragons, where I even go against Ryan Yu at one point, which is always nice to play against them because I usually face them at locals actually, and I learn a lot every time I play against them. But anyways, I'm just going to show you 3 replays against Numeron Invoked, Dinosaurs, and Eldlich Stun. So let's move on to the first replay against Numeron Invoked. Now, of course, we are going second, playing Cyber Dragons. And now our opponent starts with the Numeron wall and gets the network. Now we don't have Ogre, but we do have an Imperm, so we can hopefully be able to resolve it and actually get to play this turn. And hopefully Zexal just ends up getting banned instead on the upcoming list so that we don't have to play through this too much. Okay, so our opponent does shotgun the effect and we use Imperm and it does resolve, so I guess we can keep going. Now at this point, I'm expecting that it's a Numeron Eldlich variant, so I kind of try to see what the back row is and bait it out, but it's just an Imperm. So we kind of start off with Hertz, add the Cyber Dragon, and then we just kind of go through our typical Galaxy Soldier and then Nova Infinity play. So summon, and then we go into Nova. At this point, we're seeing if there's Nibiru, and there isn't. And so we get to go into our Infinity and then into Anaconda to bring out Rampage. Now because Zexal was hit by Imperm, its defense is at 0, so that means we can get over it with Anaconda and then still have enough for game with Rampage attacking 3 times and Infinity attacking with 25. So our opponent does concede and opts to go first again, no surprise there. So we do have an Ogre, so we can survive at least. Oh, and our opponent, of course, starts with the wall and gets the network. So we do Ogre here, starts to send for cost, and then uses Terraforming to get the Meltdown. And now at this point, I'm like, okay, so it's a Invoked variant. Who knows, maybe still Eldlich in it. At this point, I didn't know. And so our opponent does start with the Alistair, gets the Invocation, use Desires. I have no interruption, so he's just kind of free to go off here. And sets 3 in pass, so it's kind of a strange board, but we kind of try to push through. We use the Hertz and get the Cyber Dragon to hand. And then add the Galaxy Soldier to try to go into Nova Infinity. I mean, 3 back row, it's probably not going to go through, but we have no choice right now, so we're just kind of try to push through it. Now we summon the second soldier and then our opponent flips there can be only one, so that hurts. But what we can do now is go into Anaconda because it's a plant type and then summon out Rampage to try to pop, but it gets met with Imperm, so we still send the Overload for a cost and we kind of just pass our turn with just an Anaconda. Our opponent tries to go into Secure Gardener here, but he actually can't because of there can be only one. Almirage and Secure Gardener are both Cybers types, so we fix that, but of course he does have the Invocation, so kind of just do the Mecha Bell play. And then adds back the Alistair to hand with Invocation. And we do Asher. I mean, not much else we can do though, and it's kind of looking pretty bad for us. So we do take some damage, and he even attacks with Almirage just to put insult to wound, I guess. And we draw the Kaiju and we try to drop it, and then we quickly realize we actually can't because of there can be only one. Very confusing cards, so we're both making mistakes here. And so I just kind of concede and we move into game 3. Now, I actually opted to go first because I'm just really scared of Zexal, so we'll try to see how it goes. So I do have the hand to go into, you know, your typical Nova Infinity play, but core does get met with Gamma, so I can't get the overflow that I was trying to get, but we do at least hard draw Soldier and Hertz, so we, oh, okay, never mind. We get Veilard on the Soldier, so we unfortunately have no choice but to pass on just the defense mode Soldier. So our opponent just gonna go off with his Invocation part of the deck, and well, not looking good for us right now. So does your typical, you know, Mecha Bell play. Hopefully the Invoked engine gets hit a little bit as well on the next list, but maybe it'll just be an unbanned list. I mean, I do make a wishful ban list prediction in one of my previous videos if you want to check that out. But anyways, we do take 2500 damage here. So now we special the Cyber Dragon so that we can contact fuse away the Mecha Bell with Fortress, and now we can try to resolve Soldier. I mean, not Soldier, sorry, Cyber Dragon Core, and add the ref system. And then I misclick here, and then we go into Chimeratech Rampage. And pop the back row. It doesn't really matter. And then we send the Naxter and the Hertz, add the Cyber Dragon to hand. Then we rest system, bring back Naxter, and Naxter brings back Cyber Dragon. Now we're locked into summoning just machines. We go into Mega Fleet. Now we are pretty susceptible to Nibiru here, but I just decided to take the risk and go for it. And what do you know? We do actually succeed and go for the kill. Alright guys, so on to our next replay. We have a replay going against Dinosaurs, piloted by Ryan Yu, who you guys have probably all heard by now. You know, he's an amazing player, and as mentioned earlier, I go to the same locals as him, and so I've had the pleasure of facing against him several times, and honestly I learn a lot every time I go against him. He's a very, very good player, and also just in general a very nice person. So anyways, I struggle a lot playing against dinos in general using Cyber Dragons, so being piloted by Ryan just makes it much more difficult, so we'll see how it goes. Now, of course, I am going second, and our Ryan is going to lead off with the OV, and I use the Imperm hoping that he doesn't have the Misc in hand, but of course, he does. And so, at this point, we're really kind of dead. I mean, we'll see what his end board is looking like, basically. That's why I don't scoop yet, just to see what I'm gonna have to go up against, although it's pretty standard. You know, he goes into Dolka, and has the whole Jet Synchron stuff, I guess. And well, here we go. Going to Halqifibrax, Rorodon, flips a coin by accident, and then summons multiple tokens. And at this point, now we know he's going into the VFD play, and of course, very unfair card. I don't know how it's still legal at this point. I think it should have been banned a while ago. So now we do concede, but we go into game 2 and opt to choose second again. And we have the Imperm. Hopefully this time it'll actually work out for us. Now Ryan's going to start off with the Fossil Dig, sends the Misc, and specials the level 1 tuner. And now it's about to go into the Halqifibrax play, and we do Imperm here and hope that he doesn't have much of a follow-up after. And fortunately for us, he does just set one and passes. So at this point I'm like, okay, that set's probably either an Imperm or a Call by the Grave. So I'm just gonna kind of get rid of that first, and of course it is an Imperm. So we attempt to resolve core. It does. We search the ref system, and he uses Halqifibrax effect. At this point I thought he was gonna summon out the Formula Synchron like everyone else does, but then it ends up being a shooting Riser Dragon, so it definitely did not see that coming, because if it was Formula Synchron, you know, you can contact fuse it away for Chimeratech Fortress, so it works out, but not anymore. So he's just going to use Rise Effect, decrease its level, and then we go into core and get the Galaxy Soldier. And we do the typical bread and butter Galaxy Soldier Hertz. And if you're wondering why I search ref system, it's just kind of as a backup if I do get Nibiru'd, so that I can send an extra and kind of go back into Nova Infinity afterwards, after being Nibiru'd. So Ryan does use the Riser Dragon's effect, get the Qual Dragon. Now I go into Nova Infinity, and we do the Overload Fusion to try to kill him this turn. So we do go for the attack, and he does get to draw off Dragon, but it looks like we do succeed here and take game 2 with a shit ton of damage. So now it's on to game 3. And we are going second again. We draw a Dark Ruler, which is okay. It would be nice to have an Imperm, because otherwise it's useless against VFT. Now he's gonna go with the OV, and well, it's not really looking good for us, essentially. I'm just gonna fast forward here actually, just to show you what happens. So he's basically just gonna go off Halqifibrax, everyone's favorite combo, and well, Rorodon. Summon the tokens, Despot comes back, get the O-Lion, and we're essentially doing the same thing you saw in game 1, where you're going to VFD. And now there's also Lost World, and this is important because, you know, it gives you a token, which means even if I had the Imperm, I wouldn't be able to use it. So this is where now cards like Forbidden Droplet or even Forbidden Chalice would be very useful, and that's something I'm gonna have to kind of consider moving forward. Unless of course VFD gets banned in the next list, then okay, it's much better. Same goes for Zexal, cards like that. Now at this point, I really don't have any play, and I kind of tell Ryan this, that pretty much dead, and you know, really this is a lot of damage. I don't even bother using Hertz effect because I'm just gonna die, and I concede here. But you know, overall, always great to play against Ryan, and I'm just happy that I managed to at least take a game. Okay guys, so on to our final replay. Now I know we're all tired of Synchro Eldlich, so I wanted to provide something slightly different, which is the pure stun variant Eldlich. So that's kind of a rare find. So let's see how that fares. So opponent is going to start off with an Extravagance and draw 2. Summons Inspector set to pass. So at this point I'm just thinking it's kind of just some generic stun deck, right? So here we use the emergency, and this time I don't usually do this if it was any other deck, but I do search the OG Cyber Dragon just so I can contact fuse it away for Fortress and then resolve Core's effect. Now the summon does get met with a Judgment, and so, well, we have the rough system, so we kind of do it again. And then I summon the Core, but it does get met with a Veiler, and he concedes after the Machine Dupe, because even though I can only summon Core, he's only at 4,000 life points because of Solemn, so he really is dead that turn. So on to game 2, and he opts to go first again, of course. It is a pure stun variant. So at this point, another border and set 3 pass, pretty much the same as last time. So here, kind of deja vu, I'm trying to kind of Maritech Fortress, and then here our opponent flips, goes in match, so we actually can't go into Fortress now because it's a dark. Now what I could have done is if I set Cyber Dragon, then, you know, let's say our opponent doesn't activate anything and we go into Fortress, but then he would activate goes in match at that point and we would be locked into darks. So here we kind of just attack instead and go for the 100. And main phase 2, I just set the imperm and pass, and now we see the Eldlich part come out. So our opponent looks like doesn't have much but just to attack with the Golden Boy, and then sets the Conquistador off the Sanguine. So now we Kaiju the Golden Boy and special off the Naxter, and our Machine Dupe gets mat with the Ash. And the reason why I didn't use Hertz effect at this point is because I wanted to get into Rampage and then send the Core in Hertz and then add the Core back to hand with that second Hertz. But we concede here because there's really not much for us to do. So now on to game 3, we choose to go second and we draw evenly, so that's looking pretty good. Our opponent looks like he's just doing the whole Eldlich shenanigans and just kind of set a bunch of back row, set 5, pass, wow. Okay, so we try to go into battle phase, and evenly, it does get met with a Solemn, unfortunately, so looks like we have to kind of try to push through. So we use Core, we try to get overflow so we can pop some back row, but our opponent does use the Conquistador to pop Core. But it's okay, because we still have Soldier and Hertz, so we try to do that combo. We add the Core back instead, because we do have another light in our hand anyways. And then we pitch the Naxter, go into Nova. And now at this point, our opponent summons another Golden Lord out. And then I use Nova to bring Hertz, just to suck it up with Infinity. And we set the overflow and see what happens. So, opponent, oh, actually, yeah, so I kind of negate one of the sets with Infinity, but he does get Conquistador. And then here, I decided to just use Overflow and just pop the Golden Boy, so I banished 2 to pop 2. And at this point, he now has a 3800 defense Golden Boy with some back row. So we draw the Lightning Storm, which is dead at this point, but we know he has a Conquistador, so it's really just a matter of kind of baiting things out. So we do use Repair Plant to search the Kaiju, and then here he activates Sanguine. So because we know he would pop Infinity afterwards, I negate the Sanguine, and of course gets popped. So at this point we just kind of Kaiju first, and then we use the Storm just to get rid of all the back row. And now we can kind of go for the kill because we can summon Core, search the Cyberload, we can Contact Fuse it away for Fortress, and then, well, we can attack for game because he is only at 3600 life. So our opponent does concede here. Okay, well guys, that's it for today. Let me know if you thought these kind of replay videos with commentaries was useful and I can continue to provide them. If so, if not, I can kind of go away from them. Now your feedback is super important to me because I of course want to bring content that you guys will find interesting. So I hope to hear from you guys on this one. And as always, thanks for watching guys, and take care.